Welcome to our ongoing exploration of creativity and the Enneagram through the lens of the 27 subtypes. I'm Samantha Mackay, an Enneagram coach certified through the Chestnut Paes Enneagram Academy. Today I'm talking to Self-Preservation Nine, Stacy Erdman. She's the founder of the Enneagram Entrepreneur, and she helps Enneagram professionals with their websites, content creation, and social media. Now, Self-Preservation Nine seek physical comfort and often merge with routine, something you'll hear about in a few different ways in our conversation. If you'd like to learn more about the Enneagram Self-Preservation Nine or connect with Stacy, check out the links below. Enjoy. So there's a lot of creativity in your work. I'm curious, I suppose, just generally, what does creativity mean to you?
So you posed this question before the interview, and I had to think about it, right? As a nine, it's hard to know what my own opinions are, but I would say to me, creativity is about connection. So, you know, whether it's me creating, and connecting with other people through what I create, or like just like embodying, like feeling connected to God while I'm creating, or even just seeing other people's creations and feeling a connection that way, like just being appreciative of what their God given talents are and seeing that come out into the world. I would say it's definitely about connecting, which is not always something that's easy for me as a self-pres nine, social repressed to do, but maybe, I feel like connecting with my art or my work is a way to do that.
When you say connection, do you mean with another person or with an idea?
Both. I mean, I think it can be an abstract, it could be
Yeah.
with a person. I was thinking like my daughter and I have season tickets to our theater in Cleveland, and we see Broadway shows, and every time I go to that I'm just in awe with the creativity that comes out on stage. So whether that's
Mm.
people doing the lighting or choreography or the set design. Like there's just so much creativity that goes into putting out a show, and they bring it all together for an audience. And it's just, I don't know, that's so awe inspiring to me. But yeah, the connectivity of just, you go to a museum and you look at a painting and you just, even if it's not what the painter had in mind, you can have your own interpretation of what you're
Mm.
seeing. So you connect to the piece of art that way by, your own interpretation of it.
So creativity is about almost the connection to you and how you see the world and
Mm,
experience
yeah,
things.
yeah. And like I said, it wasn't something like I had to think about it. Like,
Mm.
but when especially as I've been doing inner work through the Enneagram and just being more in touch with spirituality and stuff like that, it's just been more eye opening in that regard of just how much creativity the world is.
I'm really appreciating that. It's that sense of bringing something in and having it sort of bloom inside you and all the sensations that go with
Mm.
that. So, what does creativity look like for you in your personal and professional life?
Well, we kind of touched on it. It's definitely my professional life. Designing is a lot of where my creativity is focused. So, designing websites, I design content for people, whether that's like a presentation, slideshow, workbooks for the person's clients, stuff like that. And I use Canva to make all that, which is Australian based, actually. I
Mm.
love Canva. So, it's designing, and a lot of that has to do with connecting with people. So when I'm working with a client, I try to, instead of just like them hiring me and I just do my thing, I really like it as a collaborative process. So making sure that we're on the same page and that what their vision is, I will try to get it across for them. So yeah, definitely I use it every day in my professional. Personal, I have an Etsy shop actually that I create printable games and activities. So I've been having a lot of fun with that. Actually, it's called Creative Nine Printables, keeping the Enneagram in there somewhere in the name. But again, that's more of the design, using those skills to put my works out there in a different way. And that's been really fun too. But a lot of it's been about design. That's where I feel like my talents and my passion is in design.
I love how you've got it sort of going in both directions, both with the websites and then with Etsy, you've obviously created
Mhm.
designs that then people can print. That's sort of how it works.
Yeah, well, they're games. So I love, another passion of mine is learning. So I get to like, deep dive, and I love doing trivia games and learning new things, and then, creating something for people that they can download and use themselves. So,
Oh, okay, I get it now. So tell me about one of these games you've designed.
oh geez. Um, so my most popular one right now, actually, I created a trivia bundle. So it's 7 different games, and it's for 90th birthday parties. So they're like, what were the prices in 1934? Like you have to guess, or like, questions, of 1934, or music of the era. And so people have been buying those for their, mom's 90th birthday party and putting them out and having fun with them. So yeah, I love doing that. And I try to, when I do those, I design it based on the era. So like that one was more, you know, um, the 20s, like I can't think of the name, but I really go into and research and like what was the design of the time and use fonts and imagery based on that. So that's fun.
Right. Is that Art Nouveau from the 20s?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. That's really cool. I love that. So you've created an experience that's very practical and very tangible for a very specific
Mhm.
event, but then it's all themed from that era. I love it. That's great.
Yeah, it's fun. I love doing it.
And presumably you'd need to create a different one every year because next year, like, it
Yeah.
wouldn't be.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
do it for different decades too. So, 80th birthday all the way to 20th birthday. So, yeah, it's fun. It's just the 90th for some reason is my biggest seller.
Wouldn't think that many people were having 90th birthday parties.
I wouldn't either, but God bless them, man. They're still around.
Oh, so what supports you to be creative?
So tools. So like I mentioned Canva. I feel like, and I was reflecting on this. I think it's because I'm a body type that I need to have like tangible things to help me. So like a computer, but software, so Canva or Adobe. Yeah. So definitely like just tools. Like I need something to use to, do my art and present it to the world.
There wasn't necessarily a lot of space or quiet time or some of the like things we
Mm,
see from other types.
definitely quiet time. Now that you mentioned it, yeah, I do need quiet to concentrate, especially if I'm writing. Writing takes a lot of my energy. It's not something I love doing, but that's being creative too, right? Like,
Mm.
blog posts and writing emails and stuff like that. But I don't know that because it needs my focused attention because I think I struggle with it a little bit more. Whereas design, I can do that more with like the TV on in the background, or, my son running around like crazy, right before bedtime. I think because it comes more naturally to me. Whereas like something like writing, I would need, yeah, I definitely need quiet. I prefer quiet anyway, but I can get
And
by without it.
I know that self-pres nine's like a lot of comfort. How does comfort play a role in your creative work or supporting you in your creative work?
Yeah, so that's something I've come to realize that I can use designing as a crutch, as a comfort, and also self-pres nines where we love our routines. Sometimes it can become too routine oriented, and then I like withdraw and forget I should be hanging out with the family or, being out in the world. Like I'd rather just sit back here and design, but it definitely has become, like I said, a comfort crutch. It's a way for me to stay in my comfort zone, and even like the games I do for Etsy, like it's, sometimes I have to push myself to get out of that comfort zone and not make the same stuff over and over with different, so yeah.
That's interesting. So it's easier to make the same game again and again and again, even if there's a variation to it, than
Right.
to create
Yes.
something entirely new, because
Right.
that would be
Yeah.
outside the comfort zone.
Yeah, there are a couple games that I want to try. So, like, there's these virtual escape rooms that are really popular that I would love to, but it's like a lot harder to make and would take more of my time and effort, and that would be way out of my comfort zone. So like I keep
Mm,
putting it off even though I want to do it.
mm. Yeah, so it's so interesting because I think in my mind, it'd be great if I could just make the same thing again and again, you know? I'm like, I'm constantly creating new things. I'm like, just make the same thing.
Yeah, I guess that's the difference with
Yeah.
with the head type.
Oh, man. So, what about
That's
creative
funny.
blocks? Do you experience them? If so, what's your approach to working with that?
Oh my gosh, yes. I get them all the time. Like I said, the writing is probably my biggest block that I get. And that just frustrates me. The other thing with it, I don't know if it's a self-pres nine thing or nines in general, but we like to take a path of least resistance. So meaning whatever's more comfortable. Like I said, with the game creation, because it's something I'm not familiar with, and there's a lot more work that goes into it, more mistakes I can make in that. I just put it off. So like writing, like I said, I get writer's block all the time, and it just frustrates me to no end because I think it's not comfortable or it's not easy. So when I get in those modes, I try to take a step back. Sometimes it's hard, like I need to walk away. And this is the same with designing. Like I might be like so deep into something and it's frustrating the crap out of me. And I'm like, I just need to walk away. So, sometimes it's just easy to do that. Just, I need to walk away, go take a walk, or just come back to it the next day with a fresh mind. And with design, that is what helps me, just like walking away from it and coming back. Whereas, like with writing, sometimes like free handwriting, I do morning pages every morning. I
Mm.
don't know if you're familiar with those. So I'll, just write my thoughts out, get out those frustrations. And sometimes that helps. I have a very strong connection to my one wing. So, like, sometimes when I go into something creative, including writing, like, I feel like it has to be perfect right away. And I think maybe that's too, like, I'm very impatient. So, like, if I'm working on something, I expect it to be right and perfect the first time. And when it's not, I get, I'm hard on myself or I get frustrated. So, just writing, just free writing it out is really helpful for me to kind of get out of my own head, I guess, just to
Mm.
like get something down and out and on paper.
And both of those are body-based practices, going for a walk,
Mm,
writing by hand. They're all about, creating some inner movement, and they're good for any type. They're beneficial for everyone, but it's interesting how for you, those body-based practices are the most helpful when things get stuck.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I just realized that too as I was saying it. I do. It's something like I need to have that pen and paper, like it's that physical, writing it out instead of even typing. Like it's harder to do that. Just, it's easier for me to free write by hand.
Because there's a much greater connection between the nerves in the hand and the pen
Mm,
than when we're
yeah.
typing. So, how has knowing that you're a self-pres 9 changed or shaped your relationship to creativity or creative expression? Has it? Maybe, maybe not.
I don't know if it's changed. Like I said, I think it's just made me more aware of, when I'm designing and I'm in a mode, maybe it's not like maybe it's not so much a self-pres nine thing as but a body type thing. Just like once I start something, it's hard to stop. No, that is a self-pres nine thing. It's that compulsion tendency. It still happens, but it's more of I'm aware of it and I can try to keep myself on track or make sure that I'm not getting sucked into my computer 24/7, that I step back and be with my family or out into the world.
So, my last question is, what creation are you most proud of?
So that's a funny question because again, it's hard for nines to self promote. I would say, though, anything that I've created that has helped other people. So, whether it's, people that buy my games on Etsy or my clients and helping them with their websites or any design needs they have and how it makes them happy, that makes me feel like that it's the most wonderful feeling in the world. So
Mm.
I wouldn't say any one particular thing. It's just whatever I create that can help others is the best creation in my opinion.
It sounds like when you see that the client's happy and proud of the work, that is what you feel proud of.
Yeah. Yeah, when I meet their expectations or even exceed them, that's the best. Because like I said, sometimes when I'm in the design process, when they're not around and I'm just doing it, like I hate everything I'm doing. Like, oh, they're gonna hate it. I'm so very hard on myself, but then I get that they're very happy with it and just makes everything worth it.
Mm. Yeah, it's amazing how harsh our inner critic can be on our
Oh
creative
yeah.
projects, even though we've seen them be
Mm,
successful and appreciated before. There's still a lot of work
right,
to do with that inner voice at times.
for sure.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all with me, and I can't wait to
Yeah.
look at some of your websites that you've created.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. This was fun.